People above 40, how different is your 40s compared to your 30s? Your body starts to require you treat it more gently. You care less about unimportant things. In my case, I've also lost hope. But maybe that's just my situation. I feel the loss of hope. So many things I wanted earlier in life that will never come to fruition. Hope is lost for those things. It hurts immensely, but I still have hope for other things. That's life. I still love it. I feel that not for my person, but for my world. I have complete faith in humanity's ability to do great and amazing things. But I've lost all faith in its willingness to, at the behest of a handful of billionaires and the masses they've propagandized. I turned 50 yesterday. Yeah. I'm in the lost hope camp as well. I guess maybe that is the basis of midlife crises? I think it's realizing that time is running out. Dreams likely won't come true and life doesn't seem to be getting any easier. It also doesn't help that the last 10 months of Trump seems like 10 years. I feel that. I've come to realize a lot of what I thought I would have probably is never going to happen. And this is probably it. I'm 30. My body already wants me to treat it more gently. Just wait. You can have the mind of your 20s, wanting to get back into shape, and then go and injure yourself doing the most basic exercises. It's why I find it so frustrating to hear people claim it's simple to just get back into shape. It's not. And healing takes god-awful forever. 85% of getting back in shape if you are overweight is diet. You do not need to go hard in the gym. People also approach the gym wrong. If you are going back for the first time in years, you need to start slow. People often get hurt because they think the gym means you have to do 15+ sets for 60 to 90 minutes. They should be starting with 1 to 6 sets and light cardio, then building from there. Treating your body gently suddenly feels like a full-time job. If you get drunk, it takes twice as long to get back to yourself. I had a guy in his mid-20s tell me I'm just not drinking enough water and to try Pedialyte. Man, I know all the tricks and could drink practically as much as I wanted when I was his age too. But he'll find out someday. I swear 27 was the turning point for Maine. I'm 33 now. Every year after 27 just got worse. I don't even drink anymore. I can't justify adding an extra day of hangover. Agreed actually. Somewhere around 27 the decline started. Only for drinking BTW. I can lift more at the gym than ever before and my sleep schedule is the best it's ever been. But going out just ain't it anymore. Best of sleep schedule is maybe individual. I've gotten better at waking up, but not at being awake or being asleep. I never had a hangover until the week after my 30th birthday. Brother came over with a good bottle of whiskey. The next morning was not fun. Your 50s, you think it's hard to bounce back in your 40s? Hold my beer. No, literally. Hold my beer because I just can't do this anymore. Yeah. Now in my late 50s and after 2 beers I want a cup of tea instead. That happened to me in my early 30s but stopped when I start drinking water between beers. Only downside is you've gotta pee way more. 2 to 3 day hangovers for the win. I don't really drink anymore because of the hangovers. The high I get from drinking does not outweigh the 2 to 3 days of feeling like shit afterwards. Agreed, Bill. Have a couple glasses of wine, a beer or 2. Or a couple martinis if I go out. Any more than that and you'd think I was a Victorian queen on her deathbed. Used to be 2 days of partying and a 1 day hangover in your 20s, now it's 1 day of partying and a 2 day hangover. 1 hour of partying. Beg to differ, sir. Can finish in 5 minutes. I don't even go and am in bed by 9 p.m. I'm 43 and still don't get hangovers from big nights out. It's like a kind of useless superpower. In my 40s too, and while I get hangovers, they definitely don't last 2 or 3 days. Maybe they're a bit worse than when I was in my 20s, but not so bad that I feel like I'm dying and will swear off alcohol altogether. Hangover are actually genetic. I have also never had a hangover, and thought it was because I was doing something right, but more likely it's the only good gene I have. And you don't even have to get drunk to feel it. I spent a week of very relaxed autumn break and it took me a week to recover from fatigue at work. Brother, it already takes me 2x as long to get back to myself compared to my 20s. You're telling me every decade is exponential? Staying at home has become just as exciting as going out. Sometimes more so. Felt that way since teenage years. Wonder if it will be reversed for me in 40s. I was like you and, at least for me, this has never reversed. I just keep on being an introverted homebody. Do I bestir myself to attend important social occasions and gatherings? Yes, but I always need at least a week of alone time to recover after people ing. I've always felt a low-key burn to go out but never did in my 20s and 30s. Just turned 42 and am making it a goal to go to at least one big adult function a month. Major artist concert last month. Vampire ball in NYC for Halloween/October, who knows for November. Staying at home on its own is boring. Arranging to out with friends and then it gets cancelled so you can watch TV in your underpants. Sensational. Why is it that this is so true? I used to love going out, like only home to shower and sleep kinda guy. Then COVID happened when I was 24 around the same time I was switching jobs, so I stayed unemployed for 7 to 8 months and fell into a deep depression. Ever since that time it's like a switch flipped in my head, and even though I feel happy and content in my life now I still hate going out, even to hang out with people I like or I miss. I just want to stay in the comfort of my home. I even hate when people visit us now because then I will have to entertain them. This drives my wife crazy, but no matter how hard I try I am just overwhelmed and overstimulated whenever I'm in a social gathering. I'm 31 and feel this way already. Sometimes I feel cornered by the idea that the window for experiencing life is closing. Sometimes I feel wise. Sometimes I feel like ignorance would be blissful. I dunno. Man, it's just life in the universe. Welcome to real life. Enjoy your front row seat. No one has ever asked to be here, ever in the existence of humanity. We do have a choice in how we live our lives. Get busy living, or get busy dying. 42 now. Started riding again at 40. Went on a 3,000-mile ride last year and this year. I also work out 3 days a week. Just compound exercises and 30-minute cardio. You just have to be like, fuck it, and go experience what you want to. For me, way better. I'm more confident and I say no a lot more. Same. A lot more outgoing now in my 40s and I care so much less about what people think. Having more money also is good. I can travel more. Saying no more often is the best superpower 30s never gave you. At some point in your 40s, your body will announce that it has a new favorite game it likes to play with you, called Guess How Young You're Not. I started cycling at 41. I'm the fittest I've ever been now and my max distance in a day is 206 miles. My body said, under all that neglect I am an absolute unit. I'll take care of it as long as I can. Same. Now I'm 42 and I only started going to the gym last year. Really happy with the results. Wish I've started it sooner but still real proud of the progress. Also quit drinking so that's another perk. Great attitude. People thinking they are physically gone at 40. These people are 1 foot in the grave already. I was the same. My 40s hit pretty hard. I had a bit of a gut from no longer being carried by my metabolism. I would get out of breath walking up a flight of stairs and I just generally felt shit and tired all the time. I started running and working out. I did the couch to 5K program thinking that if I had enough endurance to run 5K I would feel like a god, and I actually did. I got a gym membership because summer here is about 40°C every day, which is uncomfortable to run in. I looked on YouTube for a newbie workout program and started doing that alongside the running in the gym, still going to the lake to run if the weather allowed it. After spending 40 years sitting on my arse eating fried chicken and cheeseburgers, I feel better than I ever have in my life. It's hard work, especially at first, but you come to enjoy it and it is worth it 10 times over for the confidence and energy that you get from it. I only wish I had started sooner. Here to reiterate the same. I'm a little younger, 36, but it's never too late. Also started running this year after a lifetime of mindless eating and never exercising. A 5K a day plus Seco helped me lose over 60 pounds. I've never felt or looked better in my life. And it's very sustainable. Not physically gone, but it's much easier to get injured, and once you get injured then it's much harder to get over that injury. You're not over the hill, but you have to put more work in. Sure, but you're not 80 yet. It's not like you're gonna break your hip falling in the shower. Look at actors and athletes, people whose job it is to stay fit and good looking. And you'll often find they are older than you thought they were. All my friends at 30 think the same thing. Kind of annoying to be honest. I started martial arts at the age of 42. My body takes longer to recover, but I feel like my body is in better shape than in my 30s where I spend most time of the day behind a laptop. Same here. Started Krav Maga at 43 and it's been a game changer. I've had a few rough eye gouges and crotch kicks, but I've never been more fit. I am 46. Just spent Saturday night in a mosh pit, took my daughter and her boyfriend to see PUP and Jeff Rosenstock. It was fun, but very tiring, and there are all sorts of sore in all sorts of places that didn't seem to happen in my 30s. It was still totally worth it though. I think we can still do the stuff we did in our younger days, but we know we will be paying for it for a while after. I'm only 37 and my body plays what hurts tonight every night. Geez people, stretch. Do a good flexibility program. My fave is GMBIO, but really just pick one. They are all horribly boring, but they work really damn well. I'm in my 40s and more flexible than my friends who are in their 30s. Guess how young you're not. I work from home and sometimes I get up to dance when the song is good enough. Oh boy, do I get up slow, as the knees will let me know later if I do it too fast. My eyesight started deteriorating at 11. By 27, my life was essentially overdue to it. 32 now and I will probably be blind long before 40. Fuck myopia so goddamn much. Shame on anyone who passes these genes down. These replies are so bleak. In my 30s I was exhausted from raising kids and putting everything else into my career. I was overweight from being sedentary in an office all day and commuting 2+ hours per day. In my early 40s that caught up me, health issues flared up and COVID happened. I got in shape, lost 120 pounds, and all my health issues reversed. I got to a point in my career where I could relax more than I used to. Been WFH since COVID and use my old commute time to run a 5K every morning, swim 20 laps in summer and lift heavy throughout the day. My 40s have been amazing, easily my best decade yet. I'm not 40 yet, but I am 39 and in a very similar boat, though sadly no WFH. I lost a lot of weight, started working out, and feel better than ever. I'm able to fit into clothes I couldn't wear since high school. It's about how you treat yourself. Of course my knees ache when I do squats, and my hair is graying out. But why is that a deterrent for everything else? I'm with you. 41 and in the best shape of my life. No body aches, still drinking when I want to, and having a blast in life. A lot of these top responses are depressing. My hip hurts and I have more money. I was young, springy, and hopeful in my 30s. I was ambitious, too. Now in my mid-40s as a woman and have learned the importance of sticking up for myself more and saying no. I'm still hopeful. New aches and pains every day. Less and less patience/tolerance for bullshit. I don't know. For some things, I got a lot more tolerance and patience. You have just seen it all. You know it's going away again. I was married with children in my 30s and divorced, broke and miserable in my 40s. Lots of reason to look forward to the 50s then. Oof. I'm with you, bro. Wish me luck. Opposite for me. Trapped in a terrible marriage in my 30s. Thriving with a new fiancé in my 40s. And kids are way better off now. My 40s were basically identical to my 30s, only better. I'm only 41 turning 42 next March, but this is exactly how it's going so far. I feel like life just gets better with age. Finally, a positive answer. I'm 37 and greatly looking forward to the 40s, but the answers on here were so depressing. Thank you for yours. At 45, I find it easier to deal with asshole kinds of people and be mean right back, and in a way, that doesn't really compromise my image. It's basically mostly a more advanced version of the same thing, at least mentally. I don't really feel old. For my age, nor particularly act old. Much appreciated insight. Lick_my_big but _1980. Thank you. Much appreciated. An overwhelming sense that I've wasted my life and it's too late to do anything with it. Not sure if you are a fan of poetry, but I always go back to James Wright's poem Lying in a Hammock at William Duffy's farm in Pine Island, Minnesota, when the I have wasted my life mindset creeps in and it gives me some peace for some weird reason. Over my head, I see the bronze butterfly, asleep on the black trunk, blowing like a leaf in green shadow. Down the ravine behind the empty house, the cowbells follow one another, into the distances of the afternoon. To my right, in a field of sunlight between two pines, the droppings of last year's horses blaze up into golden stones. I lean back. As the evening darkens and comes on, a chicken hawk floats over, looking for home. I have wasted my life. When you go to sleep absolutely fine and wake up with an injury, that's your body telling you that you're 40. Your 40s are less about chasing the next thrill and more about surviving your own body's pranks. More spare cash and more free time. Body feels a bit weaker, however, a bit more fragile. Just turned 40. My kids are 1 and 4. I suspect this was true for my 48-year-old partner in his early 40s, but will not be for me. I and others I know found more of a difference between early 30s and late 30s. I'm in this camp right now. What a difference between 31 and 38. It feels like yesterday, but so much has changed. Loss of family. My children born, married, separated. It's all so much. At 31 I was still swiping and dating and lapping up the world like an eager puppy dog. Although the novelty of it all from my 20s was just starting to wear off. Then everything changed. The best I ever feel now is when my kids' faces light up. I feel like a kid inside and get to experience youth again that way. I wish I could talk to my parents about the difficulties of parenting and marriage, though. Fuck, I miss them. It was yesterday we were laughing by the barbecue at Christmas. So much can change so fast. I look forward to my 40s. I hope it's more stable. A week or so after turning 40, I found myself in the hospital being diagnosed with Crohn's, menopause, and COVID. So we'll say it's been going great. I'm way wiser. Generally nowadays, I can read people like a book, especially young ones, and sniff out their bullshit. The absolute highlight of my day is having a cup of coffee with my blood pressure medication.
Ha!
Being made redundant now is far more bleak and depressing. I'm 43, sometimes I have to pause and actually remember how old I am. When I was 19, an older guy told me your 30s are the real prime of your life. You've got enough money to actually enjoy things, enough experience to know what you like, and you're still young enough to feel alive while doing it. At the time I thought he was full of it. I figured your 20s were the peak, that era where life feels wide open and no one expects much from you. Now I'm 43, stopped working out last year, and every week some new gray hair appears in a place I didn't even know could grow hair. And man, he was right. Your 30s are the sweet spot, the rare intersection of youth, confidence, and capability. You don't realize you're in it until you've already started to slide out the other side. One day you look in the mirror and feel it, that subtle awareness that the roller coaster's crested. You're not falling fast, but the climb is over. You're still yourself, maybe even wiser, but the version that used to turn heads is fading in the rear view. That's not all bad though. The 40s are calmer. You stop chasing and start appreciating. The highs aren't as high, but the lows aren't as low either. Life feels less like a firework and more like a steady candle, warm, grounded, but undeniably finite. Maybe that's the trade-off. In your 30s you live like you'll never die, in your 40s, you finally understand that you will, and somehow, that makes everything feel a little more meaningful. Thanks for this, it really got me thinking. As I work my way through my 30s, I can really get the feeling that all of this has an expiration date, but I don't want the fireworks feeling of life to die out. I was just hoping it would evolve somehow instead of being dulled down. You don't put up with bullshit anymore, as you know time is limited. You say this is what I am. I'm done bending to fit into everyone's expectations, just to be liked and accepted. Now this is how I am, take it or leave it. And the best part, you aren't afraid to be alone. In my 30s I was married with kids and a decent house. Now I'm divorced. Only have the kids half the week and live in a tiny house while I pay for this and the house I used to live in. In contrast, not being married means I commit more in work and I've had 6 promotions in 3 years and earn more than ever before and am actually a little more financially comfortable despite paying the extra house payment. My body has all but given up. Knees are shot, back is shot, guts are shot. I honestly, truly have zero fucks to give. Like, it's gone, depleted. And I'm okay with that. I had my kids in my 30s and they didn't sleep through for years, so by comparison I am much better rested now than I was. No issue with aches/pains and energy generally, which I assume is down to a strong and regular yoga practice. But my PMS for the Americans, is atrocious these days. Brain fog, I have to get up most nights to go to the loo and I sometimes find it hard to get back to sleep. Still better than being woken multiple times by the kiddos though. Female sign. I do get really nostalgic for parts of my youth sometimes now, and I think that has happened pretty much exclusively since I hit 40. Like something will hit me and I will feel sad for a couple of days that my life is very scheduled and predictable now. Not much room for spontaneity or fun. That's more because of life choices. It's important the kids have a stable foundation and routine, but it can feel stifling sometimes. Having said that, I know that when they are grown I will feel nostalgia for this time in our lives. I just turned 40. I had my lapses, but I have kept in pretty good shape. I can do everything I could do when I was 20. In fact, I think I'm close to the best shape I've ever been. But it hurts. 20-year-old me could do all this with zero pain. 40-year-old me can still do it, but boy do I pay for it. You adapt, though. It would be nice to have no pain, but I am of the I use it while you got it mindset. 45, not much. Some more pain, but honestly nothing worth mentioning. Main thing I noticed is I need more sleep, and my recovery time from tweaking something went from a week to a month or sometimes many months. I pulled a back muscle sneezing last year and it stuck around for like 5 months. Honestly, 40s are awesome. My girlfriends and I talk about it all the time. It's like a switch goes off and you give less fucks, but you also feel so much more confident and sexy. Highly recommend. The midlife crisis is actually a real thing. Mine has materialized in a rekindled obsession with collecting action figures. It's been 30 years since I even thought about action figures. Now my entire algorithm is actions figures. My wife is thrilled, of course. In my 30s, I was too focused on impressing friends and strangers. In my 40s, I have everything I want. Wife, kids, house, etc. so now I get to not give a fuck about what people think of me. I finally realized impressing others is a waste of time. I wear Crocs and hoodies to social events. I'm goofy with my kids in public. It's so freeing to just live carefree from others' opinions. Shit gets real in your 40s. My 30s were amazing, the best decade ever. In your 40s, your body's favorite game becomes, how young do I wish I still felt? I have my shit together. Still no kids. It's great. Got cancer. Feel 80. Went from feeling younger than my age to feeling elderly all at once. No energy, planning for just a few years remaining. Go to doctors all of the time. Health issues after health issues. After being and extremely energetic and healthy during my 20s and 30s. 3 months into 40 I had a diabetic infection and almost lost my foot. Been over 1.5 years and I'm still recovering. So it's been a bit rough. I'm 44 and chugging along. So nothing honestly. I really don't understand how everyone says they break down. I eat relatively healthy, walk a lot but drink and smoke medically. I'll get an ache or pain from time to time, but I also played sports for 20 years. It happens. Late 40s and I'm feeling old. I'm looking older and aging is on my mind, which it wasn't in my 30s. Losing a friend always sucks. In your 40s though you realize that a lost friendship will never be replaced. Deep relationships are formed through many things and one of them is going through life transition. At 40, you've graduated college, gotten married, had kids, and settled down. There's no more big transitions to experience. I lost one of my close friends last year and there's no way I'll ever have something like that again. Unless you're me and have done none of those things. Dating sucks if you aren't rich. Women my age want a dude with a house who can take them on regular vacations. There was way less expectations in my 30s. Libido even higher. I can't drink anymore, not because of hangovers but because it completely destroys sleep. More money, less time. 40 at my peak fitness and confidence. Suddenly much more aware of my age. I think I started losing count in my later 20s to 30s. Dating turned weird. I had changed my diet as I heard people complaining about their pain story as soon as I turned 40 and I am now having a different problem. I feel I am more happy, flirty, romantic mood and have more sexual urges and it's hard to find someone equally interested. Turn 40 this year. The don't give a fuck about what others think mentality really kicked in. And the embarrassment doing so is completely gone. Okay, get and understand others' journey so please no judgment. Please. I haven't had any aches or pains. Feeling kinda great. Is that okay, too? Am feeling super pretty today too. Not from others, but just feeling good about what I accomplished today. Held down the office alone. No one there and did it all. Well, plus had a great hair day. Epic. Curls were popping. Edit, I'm 60. Feel kinda okay. Nothing aching or painful. No others feel things. Respect that too. Acknowledge it. Not at all meaning to sound special. Haven't felt any age-related issues yet. Appreciate it. Am taking good care to notice and address if things happen. But kinda all good so far. More money. More stability. Crippling loneliness. In my 30s people still flirted with me. People still found me attractive ECT. In the 40s that stops. Boom. Nobody finds you attractive anymore. Just turned 40. Struggled with substance abuse issues throughout my 30s. 3 years sober and now I have an overall sense of contentment with who I am and acceptance of life. Everything is okay. If it's not, I can make it okay. Life can be as chill as I want it to be. Perfect. Better than perfect. Vision my whole life and then suddenly around 43 or 44 my vision starts to go when reading close up. Went to eye doctor and it's just presbyopia aka old eyes. I keep cheap reading glasses all over the place now because I refuse to wear them on an old lady chain around my neck. But now I know why old women have bizarre face hairs and stuff. It's not that they don't care. You ever try plucking eyebrows while wearing glasses? Arg. The indignities of losing your eyesight are like compound interest. Can't hit a softball like I used to either, and it's not my strength, it's my eyes. Much better. Kids are adults now, mortgage paid and I am still kind of young. Not much different until 45-ish. I'm late 40s now and definitely am feeling different. I'm in the throes of peri. I can't just tweak my diet and lose weight anymore. I rarely drink because the recovery just isn't worth it. Joints crackle, pop and ache more often. Normal aging stuff I guess. The good thing is that you worry less about dumb, superficial crap. I feel more comfortable with myself. I do what makes me happy and don't worry about expectations, except for those I have of myself. The quote that youth is wasted on the young comes to mind. Same but different. In your 30s you stop being young. In your 40s you start being old. I'm tired. grumpy, and struggle mentally with brain fog. But I'm also a mom with young kids. Night and day. In my 30s I was active, looked great, motivated at work, always busy on projects, felt good about myself on the whole. About 3 months after turning 40, I hit perimenopause hard. All of the following symptoms came on in the space of weeks: serious exhaustion, joint pain, problems sleeping, post-exertion malaise, mood swings, Rhea hitch, daily anxiety, massive weight gain around my waist, deep wrinkles, dry skin, jowls, constant allergies, brain fog so bad I couldn't function in my job. The exhaustion alone was enough to make me cry. I'm on HRT now, which has helped, but I'm pretty much a couch potato now. I look awful and don't have the motivation to do much of anything. So far, my 40s feels like the best years of my life. Somehow I feel more fit than ever and intimacy in relationships are intensifying. When you're younger and take hits / break bones / crashed bicycle etc., and people say, you'll feel that when you're older, they mean 40. In my 30s I realized I had probably learned all the lessons I needed. In my 40s I was able to enjoy that. Now I'm in my 60s and I'm still having fun. I'm sick of being injured from the things I've always done. Married now, all bad habits gone. Healthier and happier. Would also rather spend Friday and Saturday night at home, watching TV with a gin and tonic. I had 2 kids in my early 30s, so yeah, sleep was a myth and the floor was sticky. It was not easy life for me. By my late 30s, life started to feel easier, like I finally found the parenting cheat codes. Now, in my early 40s, things are pretty good except my back sounds like popcorn and my body treats alcohol like poison. Not bad. Not wonderful, plus some powerful skills as I can pretend I don't hear a 447 times in a row flex biceps. My 40s were very similar to my 30s, except I made more money in my 40s. My 50s compared to my 30s and 40s on the other hand are completely different because now I'm retired and enjoying the work and saving I did it the previous 20 years. I've visited more countries in the last 3 years than I visited in the previous 53 years. More fit than I have been in ages. Weigh a bit less too. I wonder how many years before I need varifocal glasses. I slowly get some gray hairs. And a slowly receding hairline. My left knee would probably not like it if I picked up running, but on ice skates I have no issues. Very mild tinnitus, really, always carry hearing protection and use them in loud situations. Some things are a bit less exciting, been there some that, but then there are always new things to try and learn. Otherwise, not that different from in my 30s. 44. Here. I've acquired enough wealth and financial independence to take a year off to undo all the things that acquiring wealth and financial independence have done to my psyche over the last few decades. I'm currently traveling around Europe with my tweenage daughter and wife, which we've been doing most of the year. In my 30s, I was hyper-focused on my work and mine and my wife's businesses. The luxury of this past year has allowed both of us, she's in her early 40s as well, to reflect on what's important and what we want for our family. We're heading back home in a couple weeks and have tons of work-related plans, but we also have learned more deeply of the value of time spent together and apart. It's hard, at this point, to know if these lessons will stick around for the long term, but I believe that I'm more apt to receive them now than I would have been 10 years ago, regardless of income. People have stopped asking me when I'm going to have children. I made a decision not to have them, as it's just not for me. Can barely look after myself, you know? Zero shade to anyone who does have kids. All through my 30s people would give me the "you'll settle down and have kids," etc. Now I'm in my 40s, I appear to have hit some kind of best before date, and no one asks anymore. Bliss. If you're in your 30s asking this, please heed my advice. Do everything you want to do now. It only gets harder physically and logistically with time. I started taking guitar lessons at 42. I'm 46 now and it's become a passion of mine. I love to learn things that are not motivated by economics, but by just pleasure. And it's great to seeing myself getting better at something the same way I used to when I was younger. Highly recommend. My 40s have been way better than my 30s, for various reasons. My classmates have really started dying. Big class of 507, 1998, and just in the last 5 years I've heard of almost a dozen that have died, mostly overdoses and suicides, but there was 1 car accident and 1 cancer. It would not surprise me that at least 5% of my graduating class has already died, which is absolutely mind-blowing. Pain. Pain everywhere. I didn't see any difference. I think a lot of it is what people are made to think. From doctors giving out poor advice because of patient's age, to people telling you that your age restricts you from doing stuff, because they choose to do nothing. Some context: I'm an engineer. I spent 22 years in car factories, now 3 years in pharmaceuticals, and some years working for small engineering firms. All my jobs have been pretty physical. From manhandling big electric motors and servos to climbing over or crawling into awkward spaces to work on electrical and mechanical systems to working on construction sites building metalwork as a welder/fabricator. I retrained from a metalworking background to elec/mech engineering. One constant was keeping fit, gym, martial arts for a while, and my big love cycling. In fact, I raced on the road and cross until I was 48. I had to stop due to an issue with storing glycogen that hasn't been resolved as yet. I still hit the gym though and do some cycling. Sometimes that's gym in the morning and bike in the afternoon. I have spent most of my working life doing shift work, days and nights 12-hour shifts and 3 shift patterns rotating through a 3-week rotation. Even in my 40s, I would get up midday when on nights and go train on the bike. I still train now before a 12-hour shift and will also train after a 12-hour night shift, on just 3 hours sleep, before getting back up and then going to work out. I'm 52 now and I still have the same ethos on living as I did when I was 30. Live well, live young and ignore out-of-date beliefs on what we can or can't do. I think the key points are to look after yourself. A lot of aches and pains can be resolved with stretching, massage therapy. I have a slight issue with my left glute and hip flexor. It's not age, it's just an imbalance issue that many people can have. I see a good sports therapist for body maintenance and also do massage at home. At 52, I still feel pretty good and still love hitting the gym. Sports science has moved on a lot. One study from a university in Australia found that people who cycled, did strength training, had a far younger body composition than someone who didn't. They found people in their 80s had muscles of someone in their 50s. I also love gaming still. I probably spend far too much time playing the latest games, but I also believe it keeps the mind young. Still tired, but more. I am less attractive to 20-somethings. Other than that, pretty much the same. More wishing for sleep and more pain. More aches, pains, gray. In my 30s, something always physically hurt for some reason. If my back wasn't hurting, it was my feet or whatever else. In my 40s, my mental health plays a similar game. Maybe. Midlife crisis. I dunno. That's just me. My career is actually progressing. My 40s were the best. Longevity became a goal and I'm in the best shape of my life. Much better. My 30s and early 40s were horrible. The body definitely does develop the most random pains though. I think it's a little easier for me since I've been dealing with a bad back since I was 15. After the initial jolt of weird pain in your foot or whatever, you just adapt to it. They suck more. It's kind of the same, but with less free time. I had kids when I was 35. They're 6, next Monday, and 4. 40s with kids is kind of the same as late 30s with kids. I started getting serious about my physical fitness at 39, so that's helped a lot. Though seeing more and more gray hairs is kind of off-putting. Though I do like my Reed Richards/Dr. Strange temple grays. In my 30s, I lifted heavy and ran fast to get stronger and quicker. In my 40s, I lift light and run slow/walk to keep from the pain of atrophy.